Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DST podcast. I am your host, JT Smellick. Thank you so much for joining me. And on another week, we have another awesome topic to dive into. And a lot of people actually messaged me before I started recording this, asking me, so what are your plans with this? I previewed it on my Facebook and Snapchat and stuff. And they said, it's a very touchy subject. Also, dealing with race at a time like this. And here's my thing before we dive into this. I'm not here to talk about race. You guys can go banter about that on your 30 different political Facebook websites where you guys comment and bash each other. I'm here to talk about football and football-related things. Now, in 2003, the Wayne Rooney rule was adopted by the NFL League, requiring teams to interview ethnic minority candidates for head coaching jobs. Since then, the Rooney rule has been expanded to include general managed jobs. Now, this was brought to light this year. As of right now, only 3 coaches in the NFL are minorities, and many people were speculating whether the NFL should figure out a way to change this because it seemed like a lot of teams were hiring almost the moment they fired someone. So how could they interview someone to go along the lines of this rule? Well, the NFL came out a couple days ago saying, well, they're discussing implementing a reward for instead of a punishment of not interviewing someone with the Rooney rule, you would be getting a reward. Now, the only thing I can think of this is maybe like a late round draft pick or something. I have no idea what kind of reward it could be. Here's my whole thing about this. NFL teams will hire who they want to hire, as they always have. The reward is never going to be realistic enough to influence a racist person. If the NFL wants to be, if a GM or owner's racist and won't hire someone, that's how it's going to be. There's no rule you can implement that's going to stop them. There's no reward outside of giving them a first-round draft pick that's going to stop them either. But here's the one thing that will stop them. The ultimate goal of hiring anyone is to do what? It's to win a championship. So in my personal opinion, coaching has always been skewed and always will be skewed as to who you are, where you have worked, and who you have worked with. Perfect example was the Detroit Lions bringing in Jim Caldwell for Matthew Stafford, since he worked with Peyton Manning on the Colts and also coached under the great Tony Dungy, winning a Super Bowl. I think 8 out of every 10 teams are hiring biased already and have no reward that could ever change that. Bob Quinn isn't hiring Matt Patricia off his track record, and Patricia isn't coming here if it's not his friend trying to pull him over here. He had a pretty awesome job in New England. Now look at the coaching tree that is Bill Walsh or Bill Parcells, 2 of the greatest of all time. Everything has almost stemmed from them, creating Belichick, Saban, Harbaugh's, and many others going down the line. You can go look up the coaching trees. It's spectacular how these work. Half the hires were a result of these 2 men directly. Then if you look at previous seasons, you can see, Sean McVay hype, the young genius, smartest man in the room type of guy. Then you saw everyone that ever touched Sean McVay or anyone that looked like a young up-and-comer. Matt LaFleur, a lot of people saw that. Matt Nagy, Kyle Shanahan is another one. Just the next wave became, let's get the smartest head coach who's young, and he can run laps around these guys. Well, I'm not here to give you my opinion on how to do it, but I'm just telling you that's what I'm noticing. Half the coaches are always guys who aren't fully qualified to get a coaching job. It's always the hope this guy can be the next big thing. Or, it's just riding the wave. Oh, we got a young guy like Sean McVay. There we go. Matt LaFleur, get in there. Or that joke of a head coach that they got for Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns last year. I can't remember his name at a time like this. So I'm not going to sit here and act like this rule doesn't have a place. But I do promise you, you will never create a perfect system. You're not going to create a perfect hiring system. A reward is a joke. All right? And this has nothing to do with race. I'm just telling you. It's not going to happen. It's not going. If you are an incredible racist, you're not going to bring in a guy you dislike. Some of the greatest coaches and most notable coaches, Tony Dungy, Mike Tomlin, Ron Rivera, are a few of the notable non-white NFL head coaches. You can't fix racism with a rule. But you know what you can do? Great coaching always comes to the top. It always spouts and grows, and the cream rises to the top every time. The best coaches always rise to the occasion. You know, Bill Belichick, all he needed was to become a head coach of a team not named the Cleveland Browns, and he was going to make it work. You can go look up how he wrote out his manifest destiny, basically. He said he wrote everything down on how he wants to form his team, and he never deviated from it. He was going to be a great coach no matter what. That's just that's the nature of the beast. Now, I know this wasn't exactly a long podcast, but this is just an interesting subject where I feel a lot of people are going to feel very strongly one way or another, and I thought it was important to give my 2 cents on it. Another short one for you guys. I hope everyone's staying safe out there and enjoying these as we can try to get them out. Our last one actually did really well viewership-wise. We got a ton of traction on our new platforms. Just remember, it'll get uploaded on YouTube Wednesday or Thursday. We have it on Podbean, Apple, iTunes. And so make sure you guys are supporting, liking, giving me feedback. I love all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the DSD podcast with JT Smellick. I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful Sunday. Peace.